The Thomas Partey saga rumbles on as he rejects a contract offer from Atletico Madrid, and then we're linked to Reguilon from Real Madrid. It's a weird day. It's full of some familiar stuff and some silly stuff, and we're going to talk about it all. Hello and welcome to the Goon Talk, back again with you guys for another show, for another episode of our Raw Reaction series, a show in which we react to the latest Arsenal news and get your thoughts in our live chat. And we have lots of debates and chats and, just some silly conversations sometimes about the world of football and Arsenal specifically as we discuss the transfer window in what feels to be the longest transfer window. And there's still a month left. We've still got a month left of this crazy season. And I'm so drained. I'm so drained already of all of this transfer stuff. But we will battle on, continuing our way through this weird 2020 season and get your thoughts in our live chat. Hello, everyone in the chat box. Good morning. Hey, don't bring you that Ask Blog stuff there. It's a fantastic show, but keep the goodly morning stuff to those guys. Thank you, TGT Gang, for tuning in this evening. Intellectual Investor, evening Tom, evening mate. Thank you ever so much for tuning in. Evening Omar, evening Wayne, evening Kene, evening Cole, or morning, or wherever you are today. Thank you, Mafia Boss, for tuning in as well. Happy Monday, Jimmy. Nice to see you all in here to discuss the latest Thomas Partey news in which he has supposedly, reportedly, suspiciously rejected a new contract offer from Atletico Madrid. They are desperate to keep that €50 million release clause as far away from this guy as feasibly possible, because that release clause, and I maintain this, even though Arsenal, for some reason, I say for some reason, I know exactly why we haven't yet activated it, it's because we haven't sold anyone, but for some reason, no one else yet has decided to activate that release clause of Thomas Partey, or that we know of right now, of course. And it still just blows my mind that for such a player, such a release clause exists, and that we're the only real interested party besides a small link to PSG that's been sniffing around this week. And I just can't quite get my head around why it is so low, but it is. And that's clearly the reason why Atletico Madrid want to renew his contract. But what can we take from this news? The news broke today, or a few hours back. Of course, I usually do my videos these days in the evenings because of work, for obvious reasons. And to know that he's rejected a new deal fills you with confidence. It's good. It's great. The issue is that he wants a lot of money from Arsenal. He wants over 200 grand a week from Arsenal, is what we've been told. And to talk about that, it just seems a bit excessive, because if you knew his wage right now, it's below the 100 grand mark at Atletico Madrid currently. It's current deal. It's a big step up, and I understand that it's his prime contract, but Atletico Madrid are going to need to offer something significant, and the offer that they have offered is just not anywhere near those demands. And I feel like if he was offered what he's being sort of mentioned to move to Arsenal, which would be 200 grand a week-ish, I feel like he might accept a new deal at Atletico, but they're not able to offer that currently. Atletico's financial situation isn't good. The reason why they're not willing to accept any player trades at the moment is because Atletico's financial position is so poor that they need to bring in finances. And to do that, getting the Thomas Partey release clause would enable them to reinvest elsewhere. And also replacing Thomas Partey as well would become a big priority, because it's a big player for them. And Arsenal are able to offer that wage. They know that there are going to be players moving on. They know that there are big wages that are going to be coming off the wage bill. We've already seen Mkhitaryan's deal come off with that move to Roma. Mesut Ozil's massive contract will be off after next season. We could see Socrates' big wage. We see Kolasinac's big wage move off the wage bill too. Rob Holding's new contract that was signed a little while ago is going to be removed with moving to Newcastle on loan for a bit as well. And this is great news, but it's all speculative right now, and that's the problem with Arsenal, is that so much of this is speculative, that we just don't know until we've sold someone that we can get this deal done. And it's just a waiting game. We hear news about Torreira possibly going to Fiorentina or Torino. We hear about Bellerin possibly going to PSG. These stories rise out of nothing and then just fade away as if they never existed. And it's incredibly frustrating as an Arsenal fan, as I'm sure it is for you guys, to be so in tune with the transfer market and so desperate for information constantly. We don't hear anything about a story for a day or two. You think it's dead like that. You think it's gone. And it's so frustrating to live through these times as Arsenal fans. And we've just got to hope and be patient that we can get these wages off of our bill as soon as possible, get some money in so we can reinvest it in this Thomas Partey clause. Let's get some of your comments and some of the reactions to the stuff that we've been talking about. Pritesh says, are we having a party yet? Oh, mate, I wish I could give you more positive news. There is good news that he's rejected a new deal, supposedly, but the fact that we've not sold anyone yet, until we do and get some official sales on the bill, I just can't see this happening. I just can't see the deal going through until anyone is moved on from the club. Omar says, I've been saying for months that we ain't getting Partey. Let's just accept it. Just be patient, mate. Just be patient. I'm 50-50 still. I'm not going to tell you it's done because it ain't. I'm not going to tell you he's definitely going to be an Arsenal player because I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 51% sure right now. But just wait until we sell some people. As soon as we sell some people, then you can start seeing the cogs turn. And when they do, I feel this deal is going to be at the forefront of those movements. I really do. Ben Harrop says, love the Xhaka video. Thanks, mate. Appreciate that. It was a lot of energy. Christopher Fung says, I have a feeling that Tom would prefer Szoboszlai over Partey. Actually, no, I wouldn't. We need a Partey. We're desperate. I can put my allegiances to the Hungarian aside for a second to know the priority of the club. In terms of Aouar and Szoboszlai, it's a different conversation. But Partey, all day long, he has to be the top thing. Again, says, Tom, you're becoming a prolific sports commentator. You know, in that job, I reckon I could bring some proper cliches to the game, invent some new terminology that just hasn't. And you know, the thing is, they would be born from pure confusion in my mind. And I'd love that job. It'd be great. You should check out Harry Simon. He's doing some great stuff in commentating at the moment. Go check out some of his stuff. Rydog says the new deal is only for 130k a week, isn't it? Arsenal are offering around 200 grand a week. I'm not sure the specific numbers, Rydog. I know it's way off Thomas's demands. That's for sure. I'm not sure the exact figure, but the money he wants is that 200 grand a week range that you're talking about there. Ekal says he wants Arsenal, but as usual, Arsenal drags immediately a player wants us. I don't think it's about Arsenal dragging their heels with this deal. I don't think it's about Arsenal penny pinching. We know the situation. We have to pay the release clause to get Thomas Partey. Arsenal know that. Atleti know that. Partey knows that. And the thing is that Arsenal can't afford to do that without selling players first, because you can't leave yourself so short that if no one is moved on, if there's an injury in the first few weeks of the season, that you need to reinvest that money into bringing someone important in. You can't leave yourself so financially vulnerable by spending everything on Partey right now, because we need to strengthen in other positions too, and we need to give ourselves some financial buoyancy as well by moving players on before we bring Partey in. Put the thumbs up and help on that. Thanks, Anthony. If you could give the show a like, I'd really appreciate it. Kothar says there is a reason why Atletico play a two-man midfield and look solid. You know, what's interesting is that their defence is one of the keyest parts of that. Two-man midfield and looking really solid is also a lot down to your wide players. But what the job that Koke does and that Marcus Llorente has been doing, and on the other side, that what they've just been able to put together, Saul when he plays out wide as well. They've got such a plethora of players, and what they usually do is play a more technical player on one side and a more industrious player on the other side, so that it becomes a midfield three a lot of the time. And then the left-hand sided player or the right-hand sided player that's more of an attacking style joins that front line, and it merges and it's fluid into sort of a 4-3-3 formation. And that's why they can play that midfield two from the off, because they're so structured and so solid defensively. And Partey's quality as well bleeds into that, is that you need quality players if you're going to play a midfield two only with a back four. And they enable that with the quality that they've got in the midfield. Isaiah says the wages might not be a problem considering we've got Mickey off the wage bill. I agree with you 100%. Christopher Fung says, don't underestimate the value of good coaching. Already seeing considerably the improvements in the players that we already have here. Top 4 is well within our reach. I'm loving the positivity there, mate. Zed Tom, fantastic name, says 200k a week plus a 45 million release clause is a lot of money for us. Hopefully we can negotiate a part of those wages as bonuses with, like we did with William, possibly, but I don't think you're going to. Rydog says he's 27. I think the reason for Partey is he's a transformative player. Using my terminology there, Rydog, he's instantly making the squad more imposing, and that's the reason Partey is as much mentality as he is technicality. Yeah, 100%. Smashed it. We're paying for a player in his prime now. He's going into those top-class years of his career. You don't get those on the cheap. It's very rare you find those sorts of deals a lot more cheaply. Beast Titan says, I remember the days when Tom was gassing Thomas Lemar. Wow, what a flop he turned out to be at Atletico Madrid. And the thing is that you look at players and how they might move. At Monaco, Thomas Lemar looked a real quality player. But Atletico just was not the right place for him. And the thing is, Beast Titan, is that you can look at players and you can hype them up and you can think they're going to be great. And for every player that I might say is good, that turns out to be bad, you've got your Marco Asensios and your Joboslais that I called for you ages ago and told you that these guys are going to be some special players. And sometimes you get them right, sometimes you get them wrong. It's just the way of football. The biggest thing you can do is hold your hands up and be like, wow, I've got that wrong. And that's what I'm going to do with the next guy that we're going to talk about in today's video. Reguilon. Now, I'm a regular Reguilon follower because I quite like Sevilla. And, you know, I quite like my La Liga football. And I can tell you this guy is a special player. And I can tell you this guy is what I can tell you is Real Madrid are so moronic for any reason to allow this player to go. I know they've got Teo, and I know that there's that situation there. I know he had a really good season at AC Milan. I know that they want to bring him back and do some really good things there. But I just feel that Reguilon is a player that can be something special at Real Madrid. And I just don't quite understand why, when Marcelo is getting to the age that he is, you wouldn't give him a shot in the Real Madrid side. He had an amazing season for Sevilla that's now led him into the Spanish national team, which is great. And if you haven't checked out Ansu Fati's goal for the Spain national team yesterday, please do. It's an absolute peach. My bias towards Spanish football is coming out a little bit more now. But the thing is that we have got Tierney, and that's the thing. And is my external mic not on? Oh no, is the mic on now? Oh, I'm really sorry, Harry, that my mic has not been on properly this entire time. And now it should be, so I'm hoping that's a bit clearer for you. I do that every time because I have to set the laptop up before every single time. I've just come in from work. So I apologise for that. I'm hoping my audio quality is a bit better now. But yeah, it's frustrating. It's frustrating because I don't like these links. And I love Reguilon as a player, but he ain't coming to Arsenal. And I don't get why the need to link this guy with Arsenal right now. It's just for clicks. It's just to get people talking about him. And it's worked because I'm sitting here talking about him. And it's frustrating that I have to, and I will do, because I enjoy talking to you about all the links that we get to Arsenal, but it's frustrating when I know that this is a load of BS, because it is. Arsenal have got Tierney. They've still got Kolasinac. They've got Ainsley Maitland-Niles that can play that position. They've got Saka that can play left wing back. Manchester United need Reguilon or an Alex Telles. They're the guys that they need to be going for. Arsenal cannot afford to spend 30 million quid, and that's how much you'd be looking at for a Reguilon, because he's a fantastic player. You're not going to be looking at spending 30 million quid on Reguilon when you need to spend 80 to 100 million quid on the midfield. We've got Kieran Tierney there. We've got Saka there. We've still got Kolasinac until he's moved on. We don't need a Reguilon. So why on earth am I seeing media outlets link Reguilon to Arsenal, or seeing ITKs blow up about he's had discussions? There may have been interest or whatever, but it's interest that's there purely for a scouting and for just keeping tabs. And clubs do that with any player, with loads of positions, players that they're well stocked in that role. It doesn't suddenly mean that he's linked with a move to Arsenal. I'm sorry, but if you got your hopes up about Reguilon coming, it's just not going to happen. The thing is that I love Reguilon. I think he's a great player, but Tierney is not someone that you want to block the development on. Tierney is going to be a special player at this club. And I'm just not interested in seeing anyone else signed in that position. We've got depth there. We've got quality there. We don't need to spend money on Reguilon. We just don't need to. Ake says, Omar, we've spent too. We haven't spent enough, but we've spent money. They're just trying to reduce the price burden on players who we know are in teams struggling with finances. Let's get some more Reguilon chat. ASN, pretty sure Kia is Reguilon's agent. Is he? I'm not sure if he is. He might be. If he is, maybe that's another reason for the lazy link. I'm just not sure. Tom says, yeah, we were just reading on your lips to imagine what it was your point sister stuff. Harry says, it's like the links with Malang Sarr. Easy journalism. Arsenal needed a defender and he was going on a free. I think, Harry, what you find is that I downloaded a video on Malang Sarr and literally 2 days later, everyone started to, I'm not going to claim credit for that because it's pathetic if I do, because I'm sure there was links before that, but it was weird. And people who saw the video that I made on Malang Sarr, it was a bit strange. It was a bit strange to see all these links suddenly appear for Malang Sarr. It really did. Greg says, wait, Tom, are you saying some of these rumours are smoke and mirrors? Oh, I've released a... Oh, no. I've released a secret, haven't I, Greg? I'm going to break this to you softly, Greg. Not everything you read is true. I'm sorry to have to break that, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Oh, Mike, I'm not the gerbil. You're the gerbil. Let's not play games anymore. You had everyone on strings. Greg says, wait, Tom, are you saying some of these rumors? Oh, I just read that comment. See, it's got me in a tiz now, Mike. And that one. This is going down the pan every single second. Tom, did I enjoy my pizza last night? I did, Wayne. It was very nice. If you checked us out on Ryan's show, it was very funny. Christopher Fung says, I was told to believe everything I read on the internet. Greg says, no, surely not. This is not the case. Carter Stage, Tom is right. It is what it is, yeah. In the most Cockney accent I've got, which isn't even that. I mean, I'm from Kent, which is about 50-minute train ride from London, and yet when I go off to uni in Nottingham, I get told I got a Cockney accent, and then I'm standing next to Lee Judges. It's different level. It's different level. Richie says Arsenal are a big name, which media outlets can clickbait. I agree with you. It's just about the way you do it. I mean, we're a news channel, we're a breakdown channel, we're a reaction channel, we're just a channel that loves chatting about Arsenal, and we talk about all the news that pops up, and it's not about clickbait, it's just about chatting with you guys. I think you guys have understood from being on the show and from doing the expert members shows, which, by the way, I should give a plug to. If you are an expert member and you would like to come on the show, we're doing one tomorrow night at 8 o'clock p.m. UK time. If you fancy your chances on the show, drop us a DM at the Gooner Talk TV. There's going to be other shows as well this month, so if you can't make tomorrow, but you're interested and you're an expert member, make sure you hit us up on Twitter at the Gooner Talk TV. But the whole point is that we talk about every single bit of news, and we talk about it in a critical way, and then we talk about any information that, you know, cheekily I may have got my hands on. But other than that, it's just a load of fun. Priyesh says, sir, if we even pay the release clause for to Atletico Madrid, his wages are way too exorbitant, which I heard. Is it that you'll be compromising on it, or are we? I think we're compromising on it, mate, because the personal terms are there. It's just a case of the release clause. We pay it, he's ours. It's as simple as that. Joseph says, I hate how slow we are. I really hate it. I'm not sure if it's necessarily how slow we are. It's more so how slow the club is. You're right. You're 50% right. There is a slowness about the club in terms of negotiation sometimes. However, there is 50% that is psychological. Probably about 25% of that is about psychological, just being so tuned in with the transfer market and so constantly scrolling, updating, refreshing, craving new information that it just comes through a lot more all the time. And so you get that psychological skew of time that you think it's been a really, really long time. And it has in some senses, but it's more down to the fact that Arsenal need to sell these players and they just haven't been able to. And I think that is ultimately where the kind of where the slowness comes from, is that we just need to sell this summer before we can buy. Thank you, Carter Stage, for becoming a member. I actually thought you were already, so I don't know if maybe you've upgraded, which would be awesome if you have done. I can check if you have. Let's have a quick check to see if Carter Stage has upgraded. I think he may have done. He did. He did upgrade. He's become an expert member. I have a feeling that Carter Stage wants to come on the show, and if you join Carter Stage, possibly and some others, then make sure you become an expert member. Help support the channel, get access to exclusive content. You're going to be getting an exclusive podcast with our good old friend Raf very soon, and of course an expert member podcast with a journalist or ex-pro or YouTuber or someone special into your lineup, so you're going to enjoy that. South London's Finest Beast says, Tom, how bad are Atletico's I know I shouldn't be prude about this. I know I shouldn't, but I'm a lover of Spanish football, South London's Finest B, and there is nothing more in the world that frustrates me. That just frustrates me when people put a H in Atletico. just I know I shouldn't. I know I shouldn't be grammar police. I know I shouldn't do it, but every time I see it, I just want to throw Mike out of the window. That's what I want to do. It's just a little thing. It's a little thing, but it grinds. It gets to me. South London's Finest B says, how bad are Atletico's financial problems? Could they sell Partey below his asking price? Two answers to that. Half of the argument is that, yes, you'd think they need to make money. However, they have a release clause for a player that's worth more than 50 million euros. They're going to take the release clause and nothing else. And he's a really important player for them. If it was someone else that they were more able to sell, they probably would go under the asking price. But because of his quality and his integrity, that's not the word. It's just his need of being in the team, that they will try and keep him at all costs. But the release being there stops them from doing that. Stop laughing at me. Priya says, sir, TYFR answer. Thank you for TY, as if I couldn't get that acronym. Thank you for asking previous question. Another one is, how does Partey, Ceballos and Xhaka fit without compromising our attacking midfield? Will that mean that we don't go for Aouar and or we don't go for... I've seen a lot of questions about this, and actually I think it links quite nicely into the argument about Van der Beek at Manchester United. Just because you add a player into a position that you've already maybe got players in, like Granit Xhaka, for instance, it does not suddenly mean that you have to play the same lineup in every single game. I know I'm sounding like I'm being condescending. I promise I'm not. What I'm talking about is that you need to buy multiple players in multiple positions, even if you're well stocked there, to add quality and add depth, so that when it comes up to multiple fixtures, you can rotate. When it comes up to different oppositions that play different systems, you can play different combinations of players. So just because you've got Partey and Xhaka doesn't necessarily mean that you suddenly become very defensive. Xhaka has shown, and if you watch the game last night, Switzerland against Germany, what Xhaka did offensively in creating space to the wide areas, something he does so well, is that he utilises those wide areas to such great aplomb that I just think that it goes so much under the radar. And if you want to hear more of my thoughts about Granit Xhaka, there is a video that you should probably check out on my channel. But Ceballos, the thing about the Spaniard is that he played in a Real Betis side. I feel like I'm repeating myself because I say this nearly on every show, and it's not your fault, Priyesh, because you might be new. But in terms of Ceballos, he played in an attacking position for Real Betis. He played in this sort of 8-10 role that did really well. He can play in wide areas too. He has done for Spain. He has done for Betis. And just what he gives you is he gives you freedom. He gives you creativity. He gives you verve. And I just feel that what Dani Ceballos can provide the team in a more free-flowing sense further up the pitch would just complement his play style so much better. He's played this 6-8 role fantastically well, and I've loved it. But he needs to transition to be more fluid and technical and just creative a lot more. And I think that if he was playing in a midfield with Partey and Xhaka, he would be able to do that. Will that mean we don't go for Aouar? If we got the money, I don't think it does, because I think having more than one player in a position and more options is only a good thing. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it strangles you to those. It just doesn't. Christopher Fung says, seems like Rydog and I are the only ones that have any confidence in our current team. I don't think that's necessarily true. I've got confidence in our team. I just think that it needs that little bit of injection. Highbury over Emirates says, isn't a direct Partey swap for Lacazette and Guendouzi more practical? Mate, no one wants Guendouzi. No one wants him. Like, you ain't giving him to anyone. He's not wanted. He's overrated by Arsenal. He's overrated by some fans, and his price is nowhere near what we originally thought because of how he's been with Arsenal, because of what he's done. He's just not wanted. Book, I'm sorry, mate, if I've pronounced your name wrong. The way you said that there is no money, I find it hard to believe, especially if we have been a selling club in the past. So please convince me that the board are a good board. I can't convince you, mate, that the board are a good board because I don't have confidence in the board as of yet. They've shown me nothing to give me confidence in them, that they've made right decisions. And I'm really struggling to get behind them. I wish I could get behind them more, but I'm really struggling with that. The no money thing is it's not no money, it's limited, it's restricted. So sorry if I hyperbolized, exaggerated. That's the word I want. Sorry if I exaggerated there. Arsenal have restricted finances. It's publicly documented. It's just how it is, unfortunately, and it's just the way things are. We need to sell if we want to buy. I didn't read your entire comment. Highbury over Emirates. No, I probably got confused. So I didn't read it. I'm sorry. Also, I believe Aubameyang is deliberately stalling so that Real Madrid will make bids. I don't think that's true either. I just think it's a slow process, and I think the club are confident getting that deal done. Ilos25 says, do you expect to see Xhaka playing a central role in 2021-22? Though I rate him as a player, I hope not. That's next season. I mean, that's the season after next. And do I expect it? I don't see a reason why not. If we were to bring in Thomas Partey and Aouar, I think that midfield with Xhaka being just 27 years old, I mean, he turns 28 at the end of this month, going into that season, becomes a 30-year-old as a midfielder that isn't massively mobile. He's more mobile than people give him credit for. I still feel he's someone that could play to a really high level into the early 30s. And yeah, I don't see why not. I'm kind of convincing myself to think that he's more than capable of being a future captain again. I think he's just so underrated by the fan base, and it really pains me that people just can't take off the blinkers to appreciate some of the things that he does. He's not perfect. I get that. But he's so much better than what people think. But I'm really struggling not to go into talking about Xhaka because I've done it. I've done it already. Go check out the video on Xhaka. It's great. It's good. I am blowing my own trumpet. It is good. I like it. It's a good video. I really enjoyed talking about him. DWTT says, so is Arteta the only positive Arsenal have in their management team? No, he's not. I think the coaching staff behind Arteta is really nice. I like Edu. I like what he's doing at the moment. I think he's got his head screwed on. He knows the club well. I love Per Mertesacker in the academy. I love what's going on there. I think we're making some really good choices in terms of recruitment in the academy. So no, he's not the only good thing, but there are big questions. The jury is fully out on Vinay, fully out. We need to see what he's capable of. We need to see if he can do that job on his own without Raul there. The jury is still fully out on Josh Kroenke. We don't know what the impact will be in the long term from him. He's going to be here for the future. Stan, the jury is not out. Stan, we know. We're not going to hear anything from him. We're not going to get any investment from him. So we need to just make judgment on the people that are going to be there. We can moan, we can cry, we can whinge all day long about Stan Kroenke, but the man ain't going anywhere. And for that reason, we need to focus on what we've got and being critical of those guys. It's just a waste of breath to talk about Stan Kroenke these days. It just is. You can protest, you can not go to games, you can not buy merchandise. It does not change a thing. It doesn't change a thing. So why not put that energy into getting behind the team and trying to support them as best we feasibly can. Rydog says, plenty of teams want Guendouzi. They won't pay, and Arsenal's handling of him as emphasises off-field issues. Teams are going to want bargains. Dupe T says, I take this rejection, Aouar, as a good thing, that it shows that we have money to make the Partey deal happen and shows we have more money because I don't think we just offer all our money. Dupe, the problem with that is that I think if we were to get Aouar, we would then need to sell more players before we did go for Partey. That's my feeling. I don't see how Arsenal have the money for both without significant sales. And I mean significant. I'm talking £50 million worth of sales. I don't see how we have the money for that without that. Our good pal Owen says, we have done this with so many players over the years, and then people have the cheek to blame the club when the players come good at a different club. Yeah, it's true, 100% true. I'm still going to say Kroenke out, says Afsar, and that's fine. I'm not saying you can't say that. I'm just saying it's not. I just feel like the energy needs to be targeted. I mean, just look at the perpetual failure of Care to You, and the mess that went on there. I mean, I wish I could tell you more, because it was an utter disgraceful mess, that organisation. Sunak says, at this moment, we are a cup team. For us to do better in the league, we need consistency. I'm not sure to what effect we'll do it. Winning Europa League should be one of our main goals. Stylistics S says, am I the only one that feels Partey is a bigger need than that? No, you're not. And I'm 100% with you, mate, on that one. Partey should be the priority. 100%. Kakare says, Rydell doesn't seem like an attacking mid to me. He kind of just seems like a sitting and your classic centre midfielder, doesn't he? He doesn't seem to me like an attacking midfielder at all. Tyrese Gaston says, does it show that we want our more because of the bid, even though we should be waiting and saving for Partey? I don't think it does, mate. I think you need to explore different avenues, and you need to do that with multiple targets, multiple bids, testing the waters. And we ultimately don't know the whole truth ever, because deals and inquiries and things go on behind the scenes that we just never, ever hear about. Priya says, so how do you compare us and Chelsea transfer market in respect to their sources? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Do you mean in terms of how they've done this summer? If you're talking about they've done amazingly, amazing doesn't even scratch the surface of how good they've done, other than the centre-back area. Malang Sarr's going on loan, doesn't count. The centre-back area, I'm shocked they've not addressed that yet. Goalkeeper as well, they're being linked today with the Rennes goalkeeper, so that could happen. They don't sign a centre-back, it's still problematic for them. Arsenal 2020 says, big up Tom, great content, buddy. We have to sell 6 players so we can sign more players due to the size of the first team squad. Thanks, mate. I agree with you 100%. Will Fleming says, what is your realistic ideal midfield for Arsenal? Realistic is Partey, Xhaka, Ceballos, or Partey, Xhaka, Smith Rowe. I just don't think we're going to be getting Aouar and Partey. And if you were going to ask me which one I'd rather get, it's Partey all day long. Ian D-Sud says, any word on Laka? Get them wages off. No information on Laka at the moment, mate. My money's on him staying, is where I'm at with that one. Christopher Fung says, any chance that Charlie Patino gets an appearance in the Carabao Cup? I only heard of this guy yesterday. Our good friend Mike McDonald enlightened me to this guy, and he has me excited about Charlie Patino. He's very, very young. I think he's only 15, 16 years old, and he's, from the sounds of things, a hell of a player. So, yeah, I'm excited about him. Don't know anything. And if I can find out more, I will definitely get a tactical breakdown done, but I doubt I'll be able to find any clips at the moment. But I'll have a look. I'll have a look into it. Let's carry on. A couple more comments, then we're going to wrap up. Okay, says, I think we want our first before we trigger Partey's release clause, because you can't drop 50 million euros for one player and then try and agree an installment-based deal for another. I get what you're trying to say. I just don't see how without selling we have the money for either of those. Brian Robles says, if selling a player wasn't hard enough, we are also in the middle of a global pandemic. Every club is struggling financially. Patience is a virtue. And in Edu and Arteta, I trust. And that's a really good way to sum up sort of where our heads should be at right now, is that you need to put faith in Edu. You need to put faith in Arteta. And if you're not going to do that, I don't really know what you're going to do, to be honest. I don't really know what you can do. Let's have a quick look on Wisecout and see if I can't find anything on this Charlie Patino. He might not even be there. Oh, hold on. He is. He is there. Have I got any stats for the boy? Wow, I've got one game for England under 17s against Denmark. He completed 75 of a possible 102 passes, 74% accuracy. Didn't score, didn't get an assist. His positioning, I don't know why I'm talking about this to you. I should show you this so you can see it too. There we go. Charlie Patino. You should be able to see it on your screen now. There he is. Yeah, I mean, he looks like a centre midfielder, doesn't he? In terms of where he's playing on the pitch there. Defensive midfield, according to Wisecout, is where he started. Let's have a look at some of the passing stats from the game that it was in. It was in 2019. 79% passing to the final third. I mean, it's not inspiring, is it? But it's just one game, and that's all we've got to go off from Y-Scout. So the kid looks special. Maybe let's get something going. Let's get the hype going on Charlie Patino, unless you want to keep it under wraps. But there's some amazing guys out there talking about Patino. So yeah, go check him out. Go find out some more stuff. Eduardo says, you keep saying Aubameyang agreed terms. I don't think he did. Well, I'm being blasted now. I don't remember saying I kept saying that. I might have done. But I don't remember doing it constantly. Why is it taking so long? I don't know, mate. I don't know why it's taking so long. I'm still like 99% confident he's going to sign a new deal, but it's just taking a while, isn't it? Yeah, I feel like he has. I feel like it's done. I feel like they're waiting for something, just waiting to just tie up those loose ends. I can't see him going. I can't see it not signing a new deal. I just have that confidence that this deal is going to get done. So just chill, calm down. It will get done. We'll just have to wait and see, won't we? I know it's such a conflicting statement, wasn't it? Right, it's been a pleasure speaking to you all, as it always is. And I really appreciate you could drop a like on the video and return to us tomorrow for our next show. Tomorrow night is going to be the Expert Members Podcast. Oh, I love these shows. They're fantastic. Not only because everyone that comes on, and I don't mean this in a mean way, but some people who come on have never been on a podcast before. They've never done anything in terms of video. They've never spoken publicly about Arsenal. And the guys that we've had on have been amazing. I mean, you look at Owen, and I'm not going to patronise him now because I know we're mates now, but Owen came on as an expert member, and now he's part of our team. And he writes for us. He comes on podcasts because he was great. And that's not to say anyone else who came on the show wasn't. Everyone's been great. And we only have limited spaces in terms of regulars and stuff like that because it's so hectic over here. It surprises me because you guys come on and you're amazing. And I'm really looking forward to tomorrow night's show. Me and some more of you guys getting to chat to some more of my listeners. It's a real pleasure and an utter honor to be able to host a show like this and get to know more of you guys every single week. So if you would like to become a member, an expert member, and support the channel, get access. And it's not only the fact that you get to appear on the show, you get exclusive content, you get extra stuff, you get more videos, you get to stand out in our live chat, you get to throw emojis in. People don't use the emojis enough, but you can throw the emojis. I feel like I need to do some more sort of creative ones, not just the logos, the regulars, and maybe we'll get a little bit more exciting with the logos. But yeah, it's a real pleasure being able to do that. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow night's show. I always read the comments at the end where you guys thank me for the show, and I really appreciate every single one of you. And I'm hoping that this show is going to lead to something amazing in the future, and we're just going to have to wait and see, aren't we? But there's my little heartfelt speech to you guys. So there you go. See you again tomorrow. It's been a pleasure speaking to you, as it always is. And as always, the Arsenal.